Hi, this is Sarah Reed, and I want to welcome you to the Kids Write Novels online forum on Class 365. And what I'm going to do is just talk to you briefly about acceptable content. We're really excited to help students write and publish a novel. And in a classroom set like this, like what we have, is we really want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable with the content. Now, we are a non-sectarian organization, which means we are not strictly a Christian organization. However, we are founded on those principles, and we are founded on the principles of family and family conservative values. So you do not have to be a Christian at all to join our program. We are excited to just welcome everybody who has a story in their heart to this program. That being said, for the comfort of all students and of course their parents with what the students are reading and sharing, we have some guidelines for you. So the overarching rule that we have is whatever parents say their student can write, their own children can write, that is perfectly fine. You can write anything that you want, whether it is fully acceptable, maybe in someone else's eyes or not. You can write anything that you want. However, when it comes to sharing in class, that includes discussions in class, that includes whether those discussions are verbally or on the discussion board, which is a posting board for each class where instructors and students can interact. And especially in our critique partner program, where we take two students, we match two students together, and they will critique each other's novel. So every student in our program will get a full novel review from another student. And it's really been one of the most successful tools that students often tell us is their favorite part of the program. So with that, if you intend to share anything, we do have some fairly conservative guidelines. Such as we do not accept horror, we do not accept gratuitous violence, things like that that would make sense. These need to be age appropriate, and I recognize that in today's world that is changing a lot. However, for the purposes of this class, we do not allow that content. No foul language. When I say excessive violence, I always make this joke sometimes to parents who ask about that. Students will say, well, can I have fighting, or can I have guns? Again, the first rule is whatever your parents say you can have. But as far as acceptable content in the program, I like to say, well, when it comes to violence, have you ever read the Old Testament? So violence is a part, unfortunately, of human nature. And it is a part of conflict often. So in my personal writing, my books do have quite a bit of violence. But it's not gratuitous. It's not violence for the sake of violence. And it's always so that what is right and positive will triumph over what is wrong and what is harmful, and in some cases what is evil. Good will triumph over evil. So that really is what we're looking at. Will good triumph over evil, or will the positive ideal triumph over the negative ideal? When it comes to, I will call them interpersonal relationships, because I'm addressing the high school and the middle school. So when it comes to those relationships, I think the easiest way to say that is, if you see it in, I'll use Princess Bride, a family favorite movie, Princess Bride. If it occurs in Princess Bride, then you can have it in your book. So I will just leave it at that. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's a tragedy. You must see the movie. It's absolutely wonderful. So that's it when it comes to boy and girl relationships. And they must be, if you are a YA writer and you choose to have a what we call a love interest, which really is more of a crush at the higher teenage level, is age appropriate. That must be a boy and a girl, and it must be appropriate, and it must be very chaste. And I refer you back to the Princess Bride. So that's always an uncomfortable conversation to have, but it is extremely important that we have it, especially in this day and age that we live in. First and foremost, it's up to your parents, but when it comes through our doors, our virtual doors, it must adhere to those guidelines. The big issue that we really have within the conservative community, within the Christian community, and it comes up often, is magic. You have within this community of believers, and again, I'm addressing our program is not necessarily all Christian, but that is the largest body of students that we have. Within that community, there is definitely a big divide in how people feel about that. For example, the most popular being Harry Potter, and you have some people who that's their favorite book. They love it. They have all the paraphernalia and all the hats and t-shirts and everything, and they just love it. Then you have others that feel like that's evil and they don't allow their children to read that. I understand that. I understand both sides of that. I know that there can be many arguments made about magic if you look at C.S. Lewis, if you look at Tolkien, and as I've often said, if you were standing on the edge of the Red Sea and you saw a man walk up in robes and hold up his staff and the sea parted, you would think that was magic. Or if you saw a group of people march around a city, a very strong city, walls, very high walls, and on the seventh day they shouted and the walls came tumbling down, you would in some ways think that was magic. So there's just a lot that goes back and forth, and I actually understand both sides where you're coming from. So again, when it comes to this class, our rule officially when it comes to magic is that magic is going to come from, I always say, consider the source of the magic. Magic isn't come out of the ether. Magic has a source, an authoritative source. And this is actually part of teaching about like world building and fantasy. So magic has a source, and essentially there's two sources. We'll just say there's a good source and there's an evil source. Even in the Bible, magic and witches do exist, and God's people were instructed not to consort with them, not to seek their advice, not because that they couldn't do it, but he absolutely did not want them seeking advice or consulting with witches or mediums. So we have the similar policy, is that if you have magic that comes from a very dark source, it has very evil intentions, something like that, it better be coming from the villain. So what you see a lot today in more modern literature and movies is you see the good character, the main character, the hero, having a lot of very dark qualities to their personality. And I'm not talking about flaws. We all have flaws. But I'm talking about a darkness. And the problem is it's not part of the character arc. So there is no resolution to the darkness. In many ways, it's acceptable because the good in a person outweighs the bad. And therefore, they never address the darkness, for lack of a better term. So in those particular cases, we don't get into the nuances. Instructors will be looking at every chapter that gets written. And if there's anything that we see, we're not trying to tell you what you can write, but again, when it comes to sharing, we're just trying to keep it nice and comfortable. So the bottom line is, if it's in Princess Bride, you can write it. And what's good is good, what's evil is evil. That's pretty much what we adhere to, and conflict is good, conflict is wise. I always say that, so we definitely need that conflict in there. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to message me, to email me at any time. You can ask your instructor, but you can also just come directly to me and receive an answer. We just want to make the environment that students are able to share their work with another. We just want to make that comfortable, and that if a challenging topic that is maybe something that the Christian community or the conservative community would struggle with when it comes to family values, if it is challenging traditional family values, most likely we're not going to allow that. I don't want to inhibit what anybody writes, so you're free to write what you want, but you will not be able to share that in class. I did make sure I consulted legally what we could and could not allow, and as a privately owned business, we absolutely can make restrictions on what students can say and share in our program. So we just hope that everybody is comfortable. This is a conversation that a lot of times doesn't apply. We don't have any problems, but it's a conversation I make sure that we have every year. So again, I am Sarah Reed. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Most of you already have my email, have probably talked to me many times or seen me at a conference. Please feel free to reach out to me. Absolutely. I'm here to help. And we are gearing up and so excited for this coming year of authors.